RTMP. Oh, actually, this might just work automatically because yeah. Okay, that worked. I instead of going direct, I had to do it as an RTMP.
Oh, there we go. I hear it now. There we go. I hear it now.
So now you should be able to go see it as well on the Zoom Test Kitchen YouTube channel. Yeah, it's there. So, all right. We're gonna just go ahead and leave that up.
Not a problem. I'll pipe down. I'll put a slate. I'll build a slate and we'll get it rolling. Don't worry.
Sounds good. Thanks.
I don't know your music, but I'll play some metal or something. Huh?
No, it's all good. Yeah, don't stress out over it.
No. We'll figure it out.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right, dude. Give a holler if anything. I'm here.
All right.
Cool.
Bye.
Yep. Give me host back.
Yeah. Saw that too. Do you want me to let in your other machine there?
I'll do it. I'll pull it in.
Yeah,
I'll pull them in. All right, cool. Thanks, bud.
All right, see ya.
Howdy, Ray.
Greetings
How's it going, Dad? Oh,
and salutations. You're a Zoomer today with all your
I'm telling you,
airtime.
just jumping in head first. Just so you know, we're actually live on YouTube right now. Jeff already set that up, so
All right,
we'll try to do
clean show.
yeah, exactly. He'll edit all this out, I'm sure. Oh man, I'm just trying.
I was just a brief bystander this morning. I wasn't on.
No,
I
that's
don't
cool.
I don't like to do panel.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You guys have the technical stuff. I'm more the director and coach world.
It's all good.
So,
I
like
today,
to watch, but
yeah, today I jumped in. I was just like, I'm working from home today. It's quiet. I had the time to do it, so I was like, what the heck?
Good.
I'll jump in there, and just so we have it, let's see if this works. Do you hear that? Is that music coming through? Probably low in the mix.
No, I hear nothing.
Okay, hang on. Let me see if I can figure this out. Which is that? Mini is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Should be there. Audio follows video. Yeah, it might be me. Oh, wait, no, I know why. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to pump music in unless I switch my microphones. I could do that too. Let's see if I toggle my mic to Black Magic.
You sound like you're overdriving a little on your mic.
I might very well be.
Yeah.
1 second, but I'm going to just switch over to Black Magic for a second to see if I can make music.
Got it. Got the music.
Okay.
Is that Jeff's son?
No, I just found Kansas City Blues radio. So I'll try my best to slam that in there, but I might just do a cold open and let Jeff handle it on the back end. Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, he's got his signature music.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to step all over him that way. So he's listening in too, I bet you. Anywho.
And if you don't mind, I'll do balloons.
Okay, that'll work. Make it a party. I brought my Zoom room in as a backup co-host just for the heck of it. I didn't have a chance because even though I've been working from home, it's been office hours and then some church related stuff. So I haven't even seen what's in the news or what's in the Zooms.
I brought up an article today that says that this was on Axios, who said that there's a significant indication that executives believe that if your camera is turned off, you're cheating the company. You're not doing your job. You're not communicating.
Yeah.
And that made a big headline in Axios today. 97% of executives polled said that if you have your camera off.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, I go into my meetings at work like this. It's like, okay. Axios, breaking news. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can find that.
Axios, it starts with the second story, third story, fourth story. I had a link in.
Oh, wait, I see it. Trouble for workers who turn cameras off.
It's in my link, and I posted it in LinkedIn. I wonder how much action that got.
I'm going to share that with my crew at work.
I get some pretty good action on LinkedIn. I posted it an hour ago, and I've got 70 some odd viewers.
Nice.
Already.
Okay.
And it says something about hosted with talk about it today on Zoom Test Kitchen, hosted by Jeff Whitgren. But
okay, yeah, we'll touch on it. Sure.
Yeah, that was the only thing I saw that was of interest in my world.
Got it. No, I like this Axiom article. That's going to my work group's Slack channel. Because it's funny, sometimes my own colleagues, Even though we're doing Zoom all the time, nobody wants to turn cameras on. I'm always in everybody's face. I don't care.
Well, there's that fine line. There's a lot of people who believe that this is just a phone call.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you're going to do a phone call, then do a phone call.
Right.
You know? But if you turn your camera on, or if you go in via camera, I think you should be on TV.
Sure. I think you should too. Makes sense to me. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't need a camera. If I'm not going to use it, what the heck?
Right. And I don't understand why some of the meetings that I've seen produced, where I've just been a coach, so I have to keep my attention just toward the presenters. Why, if they know that this talent is not going to have good camera, then just tell them to call in, and put a picture of the guy up. It's or gal.
Uh-huh.
So it's this leaning toward, since it's not it. Marshall, you're not old enough to remember Marshall McLuhan.
Oh, yeah.
He definitely was. I think he was a CBS guy. He wrote his signature book was The Medium is the Message.
Yep.
This is the early 50s, 60s of television.
Sure.
Since it was on television, it has to be fact. And now, since it's going to be a Zoom meeting, you have certain responsibilities in a Zoom meeting.
Yeah, I believe 100%,
Yeah. This guy that was on
I mean, granted,
last week.
No, go
ahead.
No.
This guy that was on last week, I forget his name, but I got a picture of him. He had a beautiful image, a beautiful everything. He was talking about networking, and he spent the whole time talking to the people at in office hours this way.
Oh.
And he just, the fact that he doesn't understand, he thinks he's looking at us. Well, he's looking at a picture of us looking at him.
Yeah.
We're looking at this him.
Right.
And it just, fortunately, it keeps me employed.
Nothing
Any
wrong with
suggestions on my picture, image, what have you? I've
no.
A couple of adjustments. It looks all right.
It looks good. The only
sounds okay.
It's a little.
Any suggestion?
Just it's like sizzling a lot. Are you fully mixed in, or how are you keying yourself out, or are you?
It's not keyed in. I'm going through OBS.
Okay.
And the OBS looks good.
I can see in Zoom, I could see like a little dazzling on your left chest of the purple almost, it looks like. So it's like it's picking up. Maybe it's just the blue is a little, yeah, that's a little bit less.
More better?
I think so.
Yeah, it could be the red crushing.
Yeah. Something like, yeah, it's definitely not pixelating. I forget the term.
Now, what does that do to the contrast? Do I need to adjust that a little bit?
I think
that's all right.
Yeah,
all right.
Maybe just stop it down a touch.
I can do that.
Definition. Yes.
That's too much.
No,
that's better.
Split the difference. Let's go half up from there, if you can.
Okay, I can't do a half. That's a 32nd, but I can bring the brightness up just a little.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
Good.
I know mine is kind of dim. I think it looked weird today on after hours when I looked at the replay, but I don't know.
What kind of light do you have on?
I got a couple of what are they, Neewer lights that are just manually adjusted, but I was messing with the camera steps,
What kind of camera you got, Dave?
This is a zCam E1. So it's a little tiny micro four thirds body with I forget the lens that's on it. It's a Lumix lens. Yeah.
Right. It's certainly clear.
Thank you. Yeah, I was messing with something today. I might have changed the white balance. Yeah, I have it manually set at 36 Kelvin. I think that might be the issue. And, we'll do our best. We'll entertain them for an hour. I'm assuming it goes an hour, right? More or less.
It's supposed to go 3 to 5.
Okay.
Sometimes it gets long-winded and goes longer. I have to bail
I have to bail at 5 too. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll just let people know up front that we're going to bail at 5.
Okay.
East Coast there on a Friday afternoon. I have family responsibilities.
And it's a big Friday too, supposedly.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, supposedly for
So-
those that practice
Yeah,
that.
yeah, right.
I've been very, by the way, I know we're on the, I've been very, I've learned a lot from you about your faith and about your your support. And I have many friends that are of a similar persuasion, and I'm always very impressed. I actually am impressed with anybody who's committed to their faith.
Thank you.
And whatever it is.
It's been good for me, and that's funny
great.
because just before this meeting, I was on with. There's a bunch of these places throughout the country, and this one where I met one of the people. They're out in Alameda, California, and they were having some streaming questions. So that's where I was just before jumping into this. I was helping them. So it's all good.
Well, there's a synagogue tech support and
Yeah, right. The Buddhist temple tech support. Yeah.
a Buddhist temple tech support
Sure.
brought to you by.
Well, we try to, just do my best to help whoever I can help. Like yesterday, I had a friend who works at an art gallery here in Manhattan. And a week or so before, they were like, "Oh, we have this event. We'd like to live stream it. Can you help us?" And I was like, "Sure." I gave them my little Mevo camera. I was like, "This is all you really need." They had the PA system, and I helped them out. And the thing, it went off pretty smoothly. It's all good. And it, gets more people into the game. And, I do my best to help people however I can.
Well, everybody knows that of you, but anyway, I didn't want to get in too much into the personal, but you shared that, and I was impressed.
Thanks, man. If anything, I think this is this greater community, whether it's office hours, Zoom Test Kitchen, what's the other, AV
Educate.
You guys are giving a lot in for, not asking for anything in return except contribution from everyone else. And that's kind of the whole thing as I see it,
You're not going to believe this part, though. Occasionally there's a rocket launch, and some people go from New York to the desert, to the deepest part of the desert.
Right.
To help out.
I had, I didn't have much going on, because I knew we were going back to the office. So I saw it as like my last hurrah to get out,
It was a hurrah, all right.
Yeah. And the bigger part was just seeing all the guys, meeting everybody in real life. Yeah. It was a blast. It really was. Actually, I'm going to see if anybody's over there. Let's see if we'll just let them come over. I mean,
I told them I was going over.
The audience.
I announced it.
Okay. The audience from After Hours is usually they represent.
Indeed.
Where's that?
Indeed.
Wow. Somebody's out on the street, 4 floors down, playing some loud music because I can hear it up here.
The beauty of life in the big city. I also like watching you out on your deck, which for people that don't understand New York City high-rise living.
Sure.
What a joy that deck must be.
The deck it's been my savior and or my saving grace rather, but it's not I'm in a brownstone. So if you think of like,
I didn't realize.
If you think of Sesame Street,
Yep. I know the brownstones.
My building has a traditional stoop like that, and I'm on the 5th floor. And it's a walk up. So that's the other thing. While it's nice up on the roof, it's painful getting there sometimes.
Bringing the groceries home is a problem.
Well, I usually get people to deliver them, to be honest. But
it's the other beauty of New York City.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is the proximity, the dry cleaner, the doctor,
you got that right.
They're all within a couple of blocks. I spent time there, a short time at the NBC News Bureau, and then I got transferred to DC to the DC Bureau as a post-college. I've been at a college of us 3 years, I guess. I spent very short period of time in DC. A guy named Nixon, you probably read about him. He's in all the papers. He was the president at the time.
Richie.
Yeah. And he was very controlling. So we spent more time sitting around doing this because he was very careful. He didn't want anybody but his voice. He certainly didn't want the German accent of Henry Kissinger or
No.
half of the other folks on. And so we had the scripts in advance. We were on film. I was usually allotted a 2.5 minute reel of film to cut down on the processing and the editing time and the Scotch tape we needed. So I would redline the script, sit there, they'd clear the room.
There you go.
We'd come back in just before he comes in, and it was just boring as hell because I'd come out of live production, live news, live wrestling.
Yeah, no doubt.
And this was just so I got into the event business back then in 1972, before there was an event business.
Wow.
Events were all handled by the ad agency.
Yeah. Speaking of events, I know I mentioned it earlier today that we got our upfront coming up in a month or so.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Always big deals.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Hey, most of the attendees, right? You reckon. So if it's okay,
I'll do the door.
Okay, cool. You work the door.
I'll do the door.
I'm used to working the door, but I'm, just because I'm
no,
big,
you're
tall dude.
you're the honcho.
No,
I'll do the door.
All right. I don't know what time people start showing up. Hopefully,
A couple of minutes before that. There's everybody's usually off camera by now, and if they checked in on camera, they don't come in until 2 or 3 minutes before show. So I'm going to step out, grab a water.
Yeah. Same here. I'm going to do the same.
Then I'm going to come back.
Okay. I'll
All
have
right.
this. That's up, but I'm listening.
Great.
Okay, cool.
I got an okay from Chris about 10 to 2 saying he knew, he got my message. Don't come around after 2 o'clock. I get an idea. Let's do a show.
Hold on. Oh, wait. I didn't hit my headphone. Hold on. I wonder why I couldn't hear anything. Just have to plug in. There we go.
Details.
Yeah, it's the little things in life.
I heard somebody come in and out.
Did you? Let me get in.
I'm talking to my
Oh,
wife.
oh.
There's a delivery. What do we get, love? Something for grandson's birthday, of course.
When's the grandson's birthday?
Fortunately, the speaker was not on, so I don't have to say I have no idea. God. Not mine, so I guess they're on her calendar someplace.
Okay.
Oh, look at this.
Oh,
I have my own.
wow.
I have my own cup.
You get your own football team too, or baseball team.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, long time Yankee fan.
Okay.
I switched to Tampa Bay Rays.
Oh, yeah. It's a name you can trust.
Hey, I can do this.
Okay, cool.
And some will be new people, Dave, that
That's
they
fine.
haven't seen. So we'll
Yeah.
maybe fill in a little time by Xing. Say hi,
Ooh.
folks.
Hi,
Time to do the
Dita.
opener, Dave.
Oh, really? I don't have any music, so I can just hum a
No.
song. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, we could do that.
There you
I can
go.
leave it. Okay. Hello, Dita. Is it Dita? I'm sorry. I hope not to mispronounce names. So you'll have to help me.
Hi. Yes, it's Daita.
Hey, Dita. My name's David. Jeff isn't here today, so he asked me to kind of help host. So we're going to do our best. So wish us luck.
Good luck. It's my first time here and I
Oh,
came
okay, good.
across it sort of randomly. So
Cool.
I'm excited to be here.
Welcome. I'm just going to give it a few minutes to let a few other people come in. The doors are just, Ray is he's Jeff. He helps Jeff all the time. I'm just here for the one day filling in. So we'll talk.
Daita, where are you from?
I am currently in Fairfax, Virginia, Northern Virginia, outskirts of Washington, D.C.
Yeah,
Good.
enough. Cool. So you're here on the east. Did you make it through the storm or whatever? Did you guys get hit with that storm that came up the East Coast?
Not too bad.
Okay.
Not too bad.
I'm in Manhattan, New York, so we didn't get it either.
Goodness.
Little
Yeah.
drizzle.
So you had a shooting scare.
Oh, yeah. We're not going to go into that. That's not too.
Yes, sorry.
It's okay.
I used to live in Manhattan. So
Oh, okay.
yes. Very up north, but still Manhattan, Inwood
Sure.
area.
Yep. Oh, okay. I have a good friend who's on 204 in Inwood. Give it a few. Just looking at some of the new features in Zoom. Nothing new except from March 21 was the last. But they have some upcoming stuff that looks pretty good. So, Daita, are you involved in day-to-day Zoom management and operations too?
Yes, so we have a weekly webinar, and we also have about twice a month workshops. They're 3-hour events, and we try our webinars to be interactive, but the workshops are definitely a lot of breakout rooms using
Sure.
kind of
Cool.
whiteboard and all of that. Yes.
When you say whiteboards, is that the Zoom whiteboards?
Sometimes or
Or-
Jamboards or other
Okay.
things, Google Slides,
Mhm.
reactions, stamps, all kinds of.
Cool. Oh, holy showing up. It's like a hey man.
Oh,
No.
it's Good Friday for many people. So
This is true. Yeah. So we'll give it a few more minutes and then we'll just get going and see how we can be of help. And I'm going to just, before we kick it off though, I'll slide to this so that way Jeff has a clean thing and we'll hit it like a real show. Let me just poke in and see who's over at other spot. Where is that going? Yeah, myself, I'm in the broadcast industry here in New York, but in the industry, but we do more Zoom stuff than broadcast stuff at this point. Why is that not doing this? Oh, I know why. Okay. And well, what do you think, Ray? Oh, you mute. Well, I'm not hearing you. I got you.
Sorry.
I got you.
Thanks. I guess the holiday could have something to do with it.
Could be. So I'll give Jeff a quick beat of this and we'll just come in and we'll get things going.
Great.
All righty. And welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen. My name is David Brady. I'm your guest host tonight or today. Jeff is on assignment, as they say in the business. So we're going to do our best to hold up the standards of the Zoom Test Kitchen, answer some of your questions, and have some fun and learn some stuff while we're here. Ray Franklin is helping out, and we have Daita Sergey. Is that pronounced right? Just joining us.
perfect.
First time in, so we're here. I don't have a real agenda, so we're just going to wing it. I've got a hard out in an hour, so it'll be short and sweet, I think. We're on a holiday, so, we'll do our best. I know Jeff always starts things out kind of with like talking about new releases or new updates and stuff to that effect of what's going on in the Zoom ecosphere. I was just looking through the upcoming release, which is actually on April 18th, supposedly. So the Easter Bunny or Peter Rabbit Cottontail is going to be bringing something to your Zoom basket on Sunday. And we'll just punch through a few things and we can have a little open discussion on what's what and what we're talking about. Looking through it. Now, should I share this out? Yeah, let's do that. Does Jeff usually share screen? He will from time to time. Okay.
And then zoom in on it so we can see it.
Yeah, I think that should be good. Yeah. We've got the April 18th upcoming release. The first item is a chat etiquette tool, which looks to be pretty interesting. Allows companies to put up keywords to kind of filter on and perform actions on if needed. I could see that being helpful probably in education and places where, enforcing etiquette could be tricky at best. I don't know. The other one that stands out for me there, though, is the one-time password for logins that are suspicious. I'm not 100% sure I understand their definition. Users with work email who don't have two-factor are required to enter a one-time password. So I guess it sounds like forcing a type of two-factor where you won't get in until you supply that password, which is interesting because I know at where I work and other places I've seen some companies don't enforce any sort of password requirements for getting into meetings, and it can be
risky.
A slippery slope. Yeah, absolutely.
Were you here when we had a couple of Zoom bombers?
I was. That was one of my earlier ventures into this group.
Unpleasant, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's always a challenge to manage that stuff because, especially in a public forum like the Zoom Test Kitchen, or where you want to encourage participation, and if you put up too much of a barrier, it can be like people will give up. But at the same time, in situations like that, you don't have the barrier or somebody working the door. It's just a recipe for disaster, I guess. We, in my company, don't enforce the two-factor, or our Zoom is behind a two-factor in and of itself. But a lot of times people just come into meetings with no second layer of protection. So it can be kind of strange that way. And Daita, in your instance, I mean, we were talking earlier and you mentioned that you're doing weekly webinars or workshops, etc. Is it an organization where you're the admin, you're kind of laying down those restrictions?
Yes. So I would create all the meetings, and for the webinars, they all have Zoom registration. So they can only, access the webinar if they had registered, and they get each person has their own link when they register. And for the workshops, the registration doesn't happen as through Zoom. So I create the meeting, but it's usually with a waiting room, and I know who should be there because they registered through a different process.
Okay, so that other process would be something like, what are some of the big ones?
Well, the other process is not in Zoom because the workshops are paid events, and there isn't an easy way to do a Zoom paid event, and we don't have PayPal, which I know Zoom integrates with. So we now also have Zoom events, which is another something else that I am looking into. But so far, there were some issues that prevented us from using that as our registration system. So I'm using a separate registration system. So I know exactly who had paid and should be there.
Got it. Yeah, the Zoom events platform, we were getting deep into that a couple of weeks ago, I think. Can't remember exactly. If I'm not mistaken, some of the guys from behind that product were in the kitchen 2 or 3 weeks ago. Isn't that right?
Yes, they were. Gave some good demos.
Yeah, it has the potential, and I think it'll get there. But if they're looking for folks like yourself, Daita, on our company at work, they're looking for people to punch it through and, find out what the needs are,
Yeah, I'm totally up for that because I really want to make it work for our events and not have separate systems, right? Everything integrated. But there were at least 2 things that had prevented us so far from using it. But we'll try an event in July where again we're doing registration in a different system, and then because you can also do a free Zoom event, so then the registration happens somewhere else, and then the event itself will happen in Zoom events.
Cool. Well, wish you luck and hope to see you here again. That's what this whole community is for. Even though it's a little light today, but as we mentioned, it's a holiday weekend, so everybody's working from home or not even working. So we'll just keep going through the April 18 release here and see. They've got the usual things for enterprise type deployment with the MSIP list and GPO options. Those are more high level and more for administrative things in my understanding. Let's see. The meeting webinar, we've got hide display chat preview notification. Participants can quickly and easily hide and show the in-meeting webinar chat message previews. These can be disabled to help you avoid distraction during a presentation. Okay, those are always good. And that, if I'm not mistaken, this could help in situations like here at the Zoom Test Kitchen, where we're using Zoom to then stream out via OBS, vMix, any of these other platforms where we've always had to pop the notifications out into a separate window and drag them someplace off screen just for a clean screen scrape, as it were. So that's kind of cool. Support and support for multi-spotlight for cloud recordings. So now cloud recordings, we're going to honor the multi-spotlight up to 9, which is pretty cool. That's how a lot of the looks in the events that the group I work with are producing Zoom. So we're doing traditional hard switching in Zoom, and anytime they add a feature like that brings some of the production elements to the native Zoom client are pretty cool.
Yep.
Meeting features, we got central library of polls, which are always handy. Oh, here's Kirsten. I recognize that name. We've got our enhancement to the waiting room participant order. So this is something I think where you can kind of click to drag and put people where they need to be chronologically or alphabetical. This is set in the portal before you fire off a meeting, which is good because when meetings get pretty big, they can get unruly as trying to manage things and find things. And I'm just going to welcome Lois and Kirsten, because you're wondering, why is Dave Brady sitting here talking? He had enough airtime this morning in office hours. And you're right, I did have enough airtime in office hours this morning asking questions. But Jeff Widgren was so kind enough to ask me if I could fill in for him because he's on assignment. So welcome aboard.
He asked me and I said, fine, except I don't know how to do all the streaming stuff. So I'm
well, he set up the streaming for me, and then he's probably listening in and wishing us the best. So welcome, ladies. I hope you're doing well. And Kirsten, I got to say, I was happy to see you and Gudrun. Are you in? I saw the tag at the end of that photo. You're in Nuremberg? Or no?
I'm in Nuremberg. Yes, that's right.
Oh, okay. My aunt used to live in Nuremberg. I visited there many times back in the days. Beautiful city, especially around Christmas time.
David, what were you saying we could alphabetize?
Okay, yeah, we're just going. As you can see, I'm just sharing the release notes. There's a new release pending or slated for April 18th. We're just going through some of the features that they're announcing or hoping to get in there. And one of them is the, where was that? It was the enhancement to waiting room participant order. So hosts can choose to display the participants in either chronological or alphabetical order, which is pretty good. In larger meetings where it's tough to find people in order, chronological is I think the default currently. So the way I see it, I'm at the top of the list, and Lois was the last admitted in, so you're at the bottom of the list. But
this is waiting room, not our general.
Oh, right. Sorry, what am I saying?
Yeah, I wish that they would have let me put the gallery view in alphabetical order. Now that.
Oh yeah, and that would be cool. Well, if they're listening, yeah. Sorry, I messed that one up. But even so, the waiting room can be leveraged pretty nicely with that feature too, especially if everybody onboards at once and you're trying to find people. It's quicker to find them alphabetically, I think, than But what else we got? The breakout room activities from the main section. Host can get an idea of how active their breakout rooms are by viewing the list of open breakout rooms. Each participant in those breakout rooms will show their current video and audio status, and if they're sharing screen. Okay, so that's now again, I'm not one in my job function. We don't really leverage the breakout rooms so much, so I don't know if anyone here does. Or, you know.
The first
We
sentence
do.
of that has been there for a while. In other words, you can always look at the list and see who is in what room, but it looks like they're adding the video and audio status. That's not something I normally see.
Yeah. And Taita, you said you do use them a lot, yeah?
We use them. And I think the view breakout room activities from a session is interesting because most of the times I'm the one that stays behind in the main session, and I have no idea what's going on in the breakout rooms.
Yeah, so what I'm assuming is, like, if you look at the participant list now, I'm not sure if you're not host, if you see the same thing, but I can tell whose camera's on. I can see whose microphone is deflecting, and I have the green thing because I'm screen sharing and the cloud thing because I'm recording, you know. So I guess those are the little heads up display kind of enhancements they're doing, which is cool. Yeah.
And that we can all see that in participants. I think the addition is seeing that in
the breakout rooms, right? But I'm assuming it's going to be that same nomenclature and iconography.
Well, next week we can make a breakout room and try it.
Yeah, fine, absolutely. What else we have? The enhanced meeting reaction awareness. Now this it just sounds heavy, but meeting participants will have clearer indications of which reactions or nonverbal feedback they have chosen. This is useful when a participant cannot easily see their self-view, which typically indicates any active reaction or nonverbal feedback. So again, in the corporate level that I'm used to operating, we don't really use the reactions, or at least I don't in the meetings I run, but I'm assuming that is the thumbs up, the applause, and the trumpet with confetti coming out of it, or whatever that thing is. Okay. And
it sounds like this is only affecting people who turn their personal video off.
Or cannot easily see their self view. So yeah, I guess if it's off or obscured by other windows, which sometimes I get into, even though I have 5 screens in front of me, there's always something buried somewhere.
Well, if you're the speaker and sharing screen, then many people will just have it on speaker view so they don't see anything else.
Yeah, that's true. The other one that I'm aware of, because we have meetings with Zoom once a month, and they were talking about this gesture recognition. So that's kind of the raised hand or the thumb up is supposed to be AI translated to those emoticons if you're so inclined. So I know early on in office hours, I was working on something with Zoom OSC to try to get the physical raised hand to be recognized and raise the digital hand, but it didn't work there. So I'm glad they're getting that going, but they have the money and the power to do it. Some of the other things are more phone related, and I don't know if people use Zoom phone or, search Zoom phone appliances. Yeah, so this is Zoom phone and not the Zoom app on phone. Contact center is, again, more of an enterprise thing, and that's kind of what I'm seeing for the April 18th release, which is this Sunday. So be on the lookout for that sort of stuff. And I'm going to stop that share for a minute and see what other notes we have here. Are there any big questions? Or I forget the flow of this show, so you're going to have to work with me and help me help you help us.
I think it's a raise hand, either this way or that other way.
Yeah. Well, no, we could go freeform. It's a small audience. It's only the 6 of us or 5 of us in my Zoom room. So are there any, how have things been going in the Zoom sphere for you?
Well, if nobody else will, I will. So last night was the second recording of our Birding with Lois show, and it's a webinar that we use to do that. And then they have the office hours back end and stuff in it. It goes out to YouTube. And so it's out there. Unfortunately, the mouth moves and then you hear the sound. And then the mouth moves and you hear the sound. It's horrible. So we're hoping we can find someone who knows how to edit a video and can download it and make it right and then upload it again.
And is that also in the resulting recording?
It is the recording, yeah.
And the recording was done in.
Looking at it on webinar, it was fine, but in the process of getting all that stuff done, and the tech team is working on making it not happen next time. But
who recorded the show? Al, did somebody? Is it just recorded on YouTube, or is it recorded locally on?
It's streamed to YouTube.
Somebody
live.
else's.
Streamed
right, but is
to
it
YouTube
recorded?
live? No.
Right, but it's got to be recorded on somebody's end at the tech end, isn't it?
Nope. They do all this manipulation, and the final output is streamed to YouTube. So that's it.
I understand that, but that'd be very unusual if it was not also just as a safety recording is a standard practice. What they're going to have to do is take it off of, download it from Zoom, separate the audio and video, and adjust it somewhat. And that's going to be a bit of a trial and error.
Yeah.
Without the proper start signal for most multicam videos.
Well, I think all of the cameras within the webinar went into one thing synchronized. It was after it got manipulated, and there's a 2-up and there's a whatever, all that office hour stuff. It was after that, on the way out, that it was delaminated, if you will. So the other problem is that during the show, somebody caught it 20 minutes in, and today I could see the talk on the Discord channel of the production crew talking to each other, going, I don't know what's going on. This is going on. This is going on. And so they tried different things. So my guess is that the entire show isn't desynchronized the same amount. So it's going to be a challenge for somebody to do that. But
out of curiosity, because I haven't jumped onto the show as it's being produced, but you're saying everybody comes in via Zoom, and then they're doing all the. Okay.
Just like office hours is. It's a different instance, but it is still the same type of process.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you got the best of the best there, so I'll get it all sorted.
Yeah, and I'm just hoping that somebody will take pity on me and fix this one, because this is the one that I'm trying to advertise to people. Say, oh, this is what we're doing. Come see it. Come join us. It's like, and it moves. Anyway, so that was my webinar experience for the week. That
cool. Myself, I haven't been too busy at work. I'm more in the Zoom room space, so we deploy stuff in the enterprise. The only problem is the building that I currently work at. It's been sold, and then this week they kind of announced that the vacate orders are pushed forward. So the 25 rooms I was going to get ready to put in, kind of, we'll put them someplace else. So that's all I currently have to report in on from my experiences.
Does that affect your job?
Oh, no, it doesn't affect the job. It just, I got to do it someplace else. That's all.
Were you on West 57th?
Oh, no, I'm at the, yeah, we're still there. That building's not been sold yet. So,
right.
Yeah. What else do we have cooking?
Anybody else have a Zoom experience to report this week?
Any issues? Or we've got a pretty decent brain trust. We can figure things out.
And David, what are those funny colored swirlies? They're very pretty, but what are they?
Oh, that's one of my RGB scopes that I have going on. It's just my extra machine that I have here. And I've got the computer that analyzes color grading and all that kinds of stuff. And it just looks kind of fun. Sometimes we'll put those in office hours, after hours, just for camera adjustment, etc. I have it on a Zoom room that I use for testing different workflows and stuff. And I just figured I'd bring it in for another body in the room.
And can you actually read that, or is it something that you need to get a computer to give you in other forms?
In all honesty, using the scopes and figuring out their meaning is still something I'm trying to educate myself on. The representation of them across from left to right, the white one represents the luminance. So if you look in that white box, from left to right is kind of in my window. So as my hand goes across, you'll see that's representative of where my hand is in the field of my camera, and it's representative of how bright things are in my frame. And then the same is true for the red and the green and the blue. So because I'm wearing a red shirt today, you'll see the red spikes a little bit more than usual. And because my background is predominantly blue, it spikes along the left to right of the picture as it shows in the left to right of that blue scope, I think is how it's done. And it looks cool. I just like blinky lights and stuff like that.
So when I'm talking and your picture's replaced with mine, the white got much bigger because I have lots of white in the background.
Yeah, predominantly, yes. You're a brighter box, but your colors seem a little bit more even, I guess. I don't know. Still figuring it out, like I say. And this is a product called Nobe Omniscope. They have a whole bunch of different, there's a vector scope and the RGB parade, And again,
it's Mac. Is it Mac only?
No. It runs on both Mac and PC. And then I also use that for doing other NDI related testing and stuff, because it runs on one computer, goes over my network, comes back into another computer, back out. This whole Rube Goldberg kind of contraption of stuff.
Well, it's very pretty. And if I were to take all 4 of those and composite them, I think it would be a lovely abstract.
It probably would. Yeah. So there you go.
We should work on syncing the video and the audio first.
Well, yeah, the thing is, there's a slight delay in its representation only because of the NDI and the whole path that it's going through my network. So it's not the fastest response time, but it's cool.
Okay, so other Zoom related stuff. So you may or may not know that every day the Quakers do this kneeling for worship, praying for peace, stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm helping with that. It's from 9 to 10:30 every morning, California time. But it's people all over the world. So it's very interesting meeting all these people that you've never known. But it's been a challenge to try and figure out how to do things safely without disruption. The first couple times we had disruptors come in, Zoom bombers. Mm-hmm. So we've put in all place all this stuff. Well, now we're getting to where we're using the breakout rooms a lot. And so it's what you can and cannot do in a breakout room is very different than the main room. And so I was wondering if any of you had any ideas of ways to make a breakout room more secure without turning everybody's video off.
When you say secure, in what regards?
Well, okay, so I'm either a host or a co-host in the meeting. I go into a breakout room. If something's happening, there is no red button. The shield isn't there for you to go and whack it. So think the
I see
only
where you're
thing
at,
that
yeah.
one could do is if you can find the person's, little screen, maybe there's something in the three dots in a breakout room that you can remove them or something. But I just thought, you guys got any ideas?
So are the breakout rooms set up such that people can come back to the main room at any time?
Yes.
Because I think that's important for someone else in that room to come and say, hey, something is going on.
Right. Right.
Another thing that I know is never do breakout rooms with just 2 people. Always have at least 3, because if something is going on, then
And a
if
co-host?
somebody's harassing someone else, then and there's only 2 of them, there won't be a third to intervene or come back to the main room or something.
Do you try to assign a co-host to each breakout room?
We have more breakout rooms than we have co-hosts, so no. But the people who are there now have been there for a little while, and they're Quakers and they know each other, and they're getting to know each other. So we could go into each room and say, would you please do this, be a co-host or something, be a manager of the room. But that gets a little complicated.
So are you randomly assigning the rooms, or
No.
these
These are topical now.
okay? So people can choose where to go.
They choose which topic, and if they're in the main room and they can't get to it, I am having real trouble trying to get people on an iPad into a room. And I don't know why it doesn't work, but it doesn't work well. Nobody here's using an iPad, are they?
No, but yesterday I did have a participant who was showing up twice, and I never knew which one of those 2 instances was her actual self. And at some point one disappeared, and which I thought was the inactive one, and then it started talking to me. So yeah, some weird things happen.
That having the double instance, it can happen when someone's internet fails and they're bumped out, but Zoom didn't kick them out. They stopped talking. And then when they come back, they're on a different IP address or whatever, then they'll come in again, and it takes a while for Zoom to realize that the first one isn't real. Yeah.
Yes. Probably
Kirsten, you were going to say something. What were you going to say?
Yes, I'm working a lot with.
This?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, as I work a lot with breakout rooms as well, I'm also diving into this. So maybe in 2 days there is something coming up, because I can see this in the version 5.10.3 in the release note, something with view breakout room activities for main session. But I think today we are too early, so maybe next Friday we could try this out, how it works.
I think so.
That's the link I've put in the chat. And well, the other thing is, I think when the people are already in your meeting and so on, so there is some first safety step, I think, that they got in the right people.
Right.
Yeah.
So for the meetings I usually host, we have a list of people who have signed up for the meeting, and then, well, more or less we know who is there. Of course, there could be someone with the wrong name showing up. You never know. But I didn't have a security situation yet with the breakout room, but I always have it switched on that they can come back to the main room, that I as a host can help. And they also have this button where they can call the host to come in. I don't know if your participants are aware of this, but this is in the breakout. So sometimes they just go on this and.
Yeah, I've had a couple participants do that. I didn't realize what that was for a long time. And then I figured out that it doesn't show up if you're a host. The hosts don't have that call the host button, but the participants do.
Be kind of redundant. No,
it would be. Yeah. Yoo-hoo, Lois, what's going on? Oh, I don't know. The thing about the breakout rooms, I haven't been too worried, because It's after an hour of meeting. So when at the end of meeting for worship, then we say, well, welcome. And if you can hang around, here's some topical rooms. We'll open those up and you can go and do what you want to do. And, so they would have had to have been there for a while in order to get into a breakout room. So I don't really think that I think this was a bunch of kids that were just trying to hassle the old people or something. So
Out of curiosity, and because again, I don't use the breakout room function as often as some others, are there other ways to limit it to, because I know we mentioned, 3 or more people in a breakout room can offer a safer experience, for instance. Are there ways to limit that or to put those kinds of restrictions so that,
So you can make your choices for breakout rooms is automatically assign, it's random, or manually assign, I will put them where I want them, or they can choose. Those are your 3 options. Now, you can, in certain circumstances, you can create the list of who goes in what room ahead of time and stuff. That's not appropriate to this meeting, but those 3 choices. And your mic is off.
No. Yeah, I remember that. I think, wasn't there something for breakout rooms where you can pre-assign or save them?
You can pre-assign, yeah.
No, but
and
there's
you can also save what the room allocation was. I mean,
Okay.
what rooms were created. That's what you can save. Not who went into them, but what rooms were created.
It's a challenge then, as far as
Well,
you
and
could either but what I'm saying is, by letting people self-assign, then you have no control over it. By having them come to you to assign, then it puts the onus on you as an admin, and pre-assigning is kind of, it seems like a challenge.
We can't pre-assign because people are not registered.
Right.
This is not a registration meeting.
The only way I could see getting around it, or the best of the 3, would be, as the admin, have everybody either text, chat, can I go to this room? Can I go to that room? And you can then keep a tally on how many folks are where. And
so I don't see why it is bad to have 2 people in a room, because if 2 people are in a room and one person's harassing it, the other one can just leave. So I don't see where having 3 is any better.
Sure, I don't know. Kirsten, you?
Well, I just wanted to add, sorry.
No, go.
If the participants can assign themselves to the room as a host and co-host, you can still see who is in which room. So this overview you have as a host or co-host, where you usually assign the people, you can always see who is where. So you can see the names, you can do screenshots or whatever. I don't know if this is saved somewhere. Yes. And actually we do, so I'm doing 2 people in the breakout and more, but it's like a 90-minute session, and we are moderating it, and we have it's more a workshop type, and then we go into 2 or 3 or 5, whatever, into groups, and they have something that they talk about. We come back, and then we have a harvesting or something like that. And so I don't have any bad experiences yet.
Good.
So
Taita, you were gonna?
Yeah, I mean, harassing is obviously, I mean, it would be very clear that when that is happening, but there can be more, I don't know, subtle ways of people feeling psychologically unsafe in a space. There can be, I don't know, racism happening or something else. And I think if there's 3, there's also a witness or something. I don't know. I mean, this is what I read about or I heard in other contexts of psychological safety of online spaces.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is these are adults. They're coming here. It's like a church kind of a thing. And so they have expectations. And one of the, one of the problems that we had a few weeks ago is there was this fellow who would come, and sometimes he was okay, and sometimes he just went away and started saying really weird things. And we couldn't understand him. And so I was pretty good with talking to him and going, well, now we can't understand what you're saying. Can you type it in the chat? And okay, that worked. But then it started getting on to, talking about sex and just getting totally inappropriate. And we had to say, I'm sorry, you can't be here today. You can come back next time. And if you can keep it appropriate, you can stay. But otherwise, you have to leave now. And I'd remove him. And he was he's a known person in the community. So it wasn't like nobody knew what was going on. But what I found was I needed to keep track of where he went, because if he was in a room that was, getting to know you, just a little chat room and stuff, that the people who were there were so polite, they wouldn't leave, even though he was just, mumbling on for 5 minutes and you couldn't understand a word he said. So, we have had some rooms where it's good to have a moderator in it, or the political perspectives room where one fellow just, the first time we had that room, he just took over. And there's 12 people in the room, and he is leading it. He is calling on people. He is, somebody says something, he will respond, and then he'll call on a different. It's like he's not even on the team. So, but none of those are technical things. And I was just thinking about the technical. I can't hear you, Christian.
I was just about to say this, that I don't think there would be a technical solution for that, because there is some technical things, of course, you can do, and you can watch or listen. And and the other part is the conversation which is going on, which as I understand, you are also hosting for adults. So I think it's different if we are in the education environment, but with adults. So.
One question I have not tested is, I know that if I'm a host or co-host, I'm in a breakout room with people, I believe that at that point I can remove someone. What I don't know is if I am in the main room, I can see everybody who's in the breakout rooms. Can I highlight one person and remove them without entering the breakout room? And I don't know if I can do that.
Yes, you can. When you are the host, you can move someone out of the breakout room. Then probably he's in your main room, and then you can make him leave the meeting for the person.
You're saying it's a two-step process. You can take them out. You can pull them back to the main room, out of a breakout room.
Yes, I think so.
Put them in a different room or exchange with another person. I'm not sure you can bring them back to the main room.
That's what I thought. Well, how about let's try it? Hey, Ray, you want to go in a breakout room and we'll try to bump you? We won't remove you from the meeting, though.
Oh, I could do that with my test room here. I can.
But it can't come back.
Well, David's going to have to give us breakout room.
I could. Let's do this. I'm going to create one room. I mean, my little test room, it's there for this purpose anyway. So I'll open the rooms and I'll.
Now, can you make us all co-hosts so we can all see what's happening, please?
I'm sorry?
Could you make us all co-hosts so we can see what's happening?
Do I trust this with that?
Hey, I was going to be the host today, man. I would have trusted you.
I have to leave, but I wanted to send one more.
Okay.
Also, something I came across. This is for presenters, and to see how engaging you are as a presenter. Are you looking in the camera? I have nothing to do with them. Somebody else mentioned it, and I thought it's a really interesting tool. Like you have your color thing there. This is something else to, that can help presenters see how.
Oh, absolutely. There's a whole.
There, so.
Yeah. I know if this is your first foray into this little community of things, you'll find the Zoom Test Kitchen is one. There's another community, office hours and the after hours crew. And there are a whole bunch of other groups. Part of the thing is, try to elevate everybody with good sound and good view. And as Ray was just showing, we have these little things to help frame, keeping
Right.
the eye line right. Everybody's using headphones for the most part, or good microphone technique. And it's just over time and through practice that you learn to level up like that. When I started, I had nothing much more than a simple webcam and a lousy microphone, but through the inspiration and encouragement of others, bring it up. So yeah.
Great meeting
Hey.
you, and I hope I'll see you again at another meeting.
I hope so. And please
Look
Bye.
forward to it.
tell your friends.
Yes,
And come back every week, Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern.
I will do my best. Thank
Okay.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So I saw Ray was doing his little frame for office hours. And the reason that we need that is because the question comes up this high. So you need to be up here in order for the question not to cover up your face.
Sure.
But when you're not in office hours, you don't really need to have your head quite so high. You can have your head in the middle. So there's different frames for different peoples. Now, Ray, you're saying no. You're saying no. Why are you saying no?
Well, what we often forget is that we're part of a mosaic of a certain number of people. In this case, it's this group. But if you're in a mosaic and you're an artistic person, you look at that mosaic of 25 people, and everybody is front and present, and then there's somebody who is diminutive, who's not. They immediately be perceived as diminutive and less part of the package. So I always encourage people to try to maintain this third. That way, everybody, because it's not just you, it's how you look and appear to everybody else.
Right.
That's the way I coach it.
But what I'm saying is being up is something we've learned on office hours. If you're not on office hours, you don't have to be quite so high. You can be more normal.
It's not a question of have to. It's not a question of have to. It's a question of how you want to be perceived in this group of 25. Right. And remember, most people are looking at the 25 people. And so if you're significantly different, either because of your background, your lighting, your focus, or you're always looking over here instead of over here, then you're different. And in this kind of an environment, you want to not be less of an image than everybody else. I've encouraged you to do that, and I know you're not comfortable doing that, and so I'm not concerned about it. It's something that it's your own choice, but that's why that suggestion exists.
Right. Now, in this group, you're the odd man out. You going to change how you look for this group?
If that was the case, yes.
Okay. Yeah, and I have tried a few times to put a plain background behind me, and I get to office hours, and people are going, no, take it away. We want to see your stuff. It's like, okay.
I'm not talking about the background. I'm talking about the thirds and the thirds. The background is a good discussion point. I'm talking about the position of your head, and whether you're here, you're very dominant. This is not a look that mixes well with the other 25 people in my experience.
And this is also not good.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And I strongly believe this, and that is that if you're on a Zoom call or a Zoom event, it is not a phone call. You're on television. As long as you're going to turn on your camera, you're on television. So act like you're on television.
Yeah, I know I should have shaved. I'm sorry, I didn't. But
that's okay. As long as I don't pin your screen or go for speaker view, but we won't notice.
The rule of thirds, though, it goes back to goes back to the early days of film. But beyond that, it goes to the whole golden triangle.
It's common in painting too.
Right. So it's an aesthetic that I think is kind of ingrained in us. So That's just that look.
And if you were talking painting, then you would not have the center. You would be off to the side so that your
Well,
eye is in one of those,
on one of those cross
grid
points.
crosses. Yeah.
Right.
So, but this is different. Anyway,
Right.
we're not talking Zoom here. We're supposed to talk Zoom.
Well, as well to bring that all back to Zoom, I will say the other day when the mayor of New York City jumped on Zoom because he's quarantined, he was like down here to say something, and I was watching that on TV. I was like, "This is ridiculous," but it. To that point, I think because of the laziness of some, or whatever, however you want to describe it, some of those bad habits are becoming the norm or acceptable. And if I can go into a meeting and, as I said earlier, to Dieta, we encourage others to do better and boost everybody up to the same level.
Mm-hmm.
It's a win-win across the board.
I had this fellow the other day in a conference, and he just would not.
Hold on,
he would not look up. He had to be looking down the whole time. He didn't get it. Sorry, I didn't mean to key him over.
It's okay. I mean,
well, many people don't know about all of this, what is just every day for us,
Yeah.
It's people who are not inside of these communities where we exchange all of this. It's just, they don't know about it. Yeah. And also my setup it's a constant work in progress. My new light just died. I don't know. I'm recharging, and I know I'm still too close to the camera, and it's a bit of construction.
but it is that constant improving and constantly changing and adjusting until you find that comfort place. Took me a while to get this look, but I'm comfortable with it. And now I have that as my virtual background. So when I go to the office and I put up my green screen, I use that as my background, and it has a sense of normalcy to it.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of it has to do with people who are always the speaker, always the presenter, and never see themselves in comparison to other people. When you're on a panel and everybody on the panel looks really good and you're looking really bad, it's obvious to you. Right? But if you are always the only person on talking, you may just not notice. It's amazing how oblivious people can be to things in their world. People camera. Yeah, mine.
I tell people to put this on if they're using their laptop. Mm-hmm. I tell them to put this right above the camera to just remind. Yep, there you go. Just remind you that that's where the people are. I know what you guys look like. And I love looking at you. And if you're talking to me, I'm going to look down here. But if I'm expecting to talk to you, then this is courteous. What is that?
Oh, that's.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Hey.
So you got that reminder.
And this is a wonderful thing on Zoom that I don't know if too many people know. I have a Mac, and there's a program on my computer called Epoch Cam, EPOCCAM. And when I turn it on, this now shows up in my Zoom as a second camera. And there's a Control Shift N for changing the camera. And I've put it in one of my function keys, so I simply go like this, and now it's looking at, whoa, wait a minute, I got that backwards, didn't I? Anyway, so, you can do whatever. I tried last night on the show, I set this up on a tripod pointing at the hummingbird feeder outside the window, thinking I would just switch to it, and then you'd see it. But something didn't go right. I haven't figured it out yet, but that's going to be fun if it works.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all sorts of, stuff that we're doing. And like I say, I try to bring it to the office and share it and encourage others. And that's some people get it and some people don't. Yeah. You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
So were we going to try something with a breakout room or something?
Oh yeah, well I did grant everybody co-host ability, so we should all be able to see my little backup room thing in here. So now,
okay, so your thing is in the room 1.
Yep.
I have unassigned 2 people, and that's Kirsten and Ray. I'm not assigned,
No,
but
no.
I don't get to see unassigned because I could just click a join button. I'm not listed in unassigned. David's not listed because he's the host. Hosts are never listed there. But you can assign someone to it. Now I'm looking at the backup scopes and I can move to main session. Yes, that is something that I can do. It says move to main session.
Okay.
That's the only thing I can do to it.
Now
I can't move to any other room, just move to main session.
Okay. And if where'd Ray go? He's disappeared.
Ray went into the room.
Oh, okay.
And Kirsten's going into the room too.
Okay, there they go.
There they go.
So now
I won't abandon you, David. It's
okay. No, I was going to try to see if I can pull this back to the main session, and I can.
Yes.
And I can broadcast a message to everyone.
Come back. Now, that's interesting. You broadcast a message and then tell me when you're done.
Done.
And I will see if I can also broadcast a message. Okay, now let's go. I'm going to go in that room and I'll ask them, did you see
your message? Oh, like she just went in there. Okay. So now, can I? Add a room. Rename.
They were talking and didn't notice. So I'm going to send a message.
Yeah, I think now your message
from Lois.
But you need to do it from
I've done that. Now you send a message.
Hold on, where is that message going? Okay, got it.
Okay, breakout rooms. It'll go to all the breakout rooms. You have no choice. What does your message say?
And another test. And another test message.
Okay.
Ready?
You want to go in that breakout room and see if they got the message?
I don't see the ability for me to join the breakout room.
If you go to breakout room, you don't have a blue join button?
Oh, no, I do. Yes, I do. Okay, let's bounce in there for a moment.
And I'm all here alone.
Come on. My camera acts weird when it goes between spaces like this. So give me a second here to do this.
And everyone is muted when they come back into this room. So you're going to have to turn on your mic.
It depends the settings.
Yes, that's what I'm saying right here.
It happened to me with 100 people in the room. Not everyone was muted. So I was like,
Yeah.
What we were talking about, Lois, is that I'm using I have two screens. So I have an active speaker that is in my teleprompter. And then over here, I have the group, the gallery view. And the message comes up at gallery view. It doesn't, and I'm frozen now. Why did I freeze?
I don't
You've
know.
been frozen for a while. We can still hear you, though.
If you're using an ATEM, Ray,
I am.
just unplug it and reboot it. This is what I've been having issues with today. So,
And David froze for a little while. Did you just have to do that again?
yep, I did. I should be back. I'm moving. I'll just move my head. That way I know it's working. And then as Ray comes back in. So for teleprompting, it's different it all depends on how you want to do things. I have my rig set up such that it all loops through. Comes out of my computer, goes to one screen, but I have that screen then splitting and it goes to the teleprompter with that view. So I have both gallery and thing on the one screen, and that's on my teleprompter, and that's what I look at. So it can be handy, it can be harmful, because it's good. It's not a teleprompter for reading script, because the one I use is only 5 inches diagonal, and that's why I'm squinting half the time. But it puts the faces in front of the camera, so when I need to address somebody, then you get that.
And Ray, I see your mouth moving, but I don't hear any words.
Yeah.
No, you're back.
There you go.
One button was missing. I have been on Zoom now for 5 hours today, and this is the first time it's gone off. A week ago, it went off a couple of times in the 5th hour.
I've been having difficulties with
Interesting.
just jumping between Zoom meetings where my camera gets weird, and I'm on a Windows PC, so whatever, you could blame that. I know.
Interesting.
But I have a Mac too, so
I've been on meetings for hours and hours and hours there was the one day that was like 7 hours. It was ridiculous. I've never had that problem. The only time I've ever had problems is before I plugged in the Ethernet cable, and then if the whole internet in the whole region goes weird in my community, then I switch to the hotspot on my phone, and I've never had that give me any problems at all.
So,
Lois, do you have an ATEM? No.
No, I have none of that. I have
I
one
think
computer, one keyboard, 2 mice, and a microphone.
okay, there you go. Now, Kirsten, you're going to be setting up teleprompter, and is it more for the interrogation like this, or is it for reading of scripts, or?
It's more for the eye contact than the reading of script. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the setup you have as far as computers and screens and switchers and all that fun stuff?
I've already leveled up and I don't have a switcher yet. So
Okay.
I'm on a MacBook Pro M1, which is pretty new for me, like half a year. I am running a Brio, and I have bought a little teleprompter where I can put in I still have an iPad Mini 4, which still works. So this one I'm using as the monitor, with the flip screen stuff and so on.
Okay,
You
cool.
want to operate my camera? No. Because since I first came in here and it happened that I had this wide shot and Guy was operating my camera, I have learned a lot. So I have this
I requested
settings panel and I can drive it myself.
There you go. Good,
I
good.
requested camera control for her Brio. I have a Brio also, and so I just testing That's
Oh,
fine.
yeah. That's right. It does.
Well,
have that.
I'm in the office hours 2.0 crew now in the production
yes, that's
learning.
right.
So you can't just take over my camera without my permission.
That's right. Cool.
I was assigned a number. I've never been on panel, just for what it's worth, but I was assigned an ID number the other night, a 6-digit ID number. What does that have to do with office hours 2.0? Anything?
Oh, yeah. That is their own back end method of identifying people to do all the production automation that they're doing, I think is the best way to describe it. Without that number, it doesn't give you the lower thirds on the fly kind of thing. So, yeah.
When you were in Birding with Lois and helping us while we were practicing, you got assigned a 4-digit Makana number, and that number was used in the Birding with Lois show. So.
Oh, right. That's what
I
it is.
didn't know it was 6 digits. I only have had a 4-digit number in all of those things.
Should be 4.
Should be
Office
4.
hours should be 4. Yeah.
Birding with Lois is 4.
Yeah, it's Mukana. It's not Zoom related, but it ties Zoom to Mukana to all the back end stuff, something like that. Now, okay, here's another question.
It's in a webinar, not a meeting, too. That's a distinction.
The other question I had with breakout rooms is, because you see, I built this other room while everybody was in that other room called suspension, with the intent of, could I then just move the Scopes machine or somebody else there? Well, let's see. I'm going to move Scopes.
Yes, we did.
Oh, wait, now we're back in room 1. Oh, no, I'm going to move him to.
We're in the main room. We're not assigned. Now, what happens is, until you close those rooms, you will still see people assigned to rooms grayed out.
Got it.
Even if they came back to the main room.
Okay, so what I'm going to do real quick, if I can figure this out, breakout rooms.
Well, the question was if we could remove somebody during the breakout rooms from one room and then remove from the meeting. Was that the question?
Right. And what I saw is that you cannot, but what I want to do, stop, hang tight for a minute, Lois. I just want to join the breakout room manually from suspension, but now he's waiting to go into that room where you put him there. Okay, hang on.
That computer doesn't accept well.
Nuts. I just ended all. Okay, I'm going to open these back up for a second. So what I want to do is I want to put the backup host Scopes into room 1.
Well, you just invited me to go to room 1.
I shouldn't have, but you don't have to go. All right.
Oh, I think
because I just opened them back up. Okay. Go where you need to, but now I'm going to do this, and I'm going to move that to suspension, and then I'm going to say come back to the main room. Yeah, don't use them that much, so that's why I'm learning.
So broadcasting message does not actually move anyone. You have to
close
the rooms in order to get them to automatically come back.
Well, I don't. What I was trying to do is so the Scopes is going into room 1, or it should be. Maybe not. I'm all confused.
All by myself.
Yeah. So now Scopes is in the suspension room, but you can't do anything. You can't boot them from there.
No. You have to bring them back to here to boot them.
But can you?
No, wait a minute. Oh yeah, it can come to main session. Okay.
And the ability to allow people to join or leave rooms is something that has to be configured on the back end first, right?
No, it has to be configured here before you open the rooms. So if you close the rooms and then you reset and you'd start it over, then you could choose if people can move themselves or not. Once they're open, you can't change it.
Right. You can just rename it or add other ones. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Interesting.
But you can't add or remove permissions.
Got it.
During that time.
And those permissions are global in that you'd have to set them and they're applicable everywhere. So you couldn't have the regular breakout rooms where people can come and go as they want, and then set up this suspension room where people get put in there and they just stay there until you do something with them.
No,
Bummer.
no.
Oh well.
No,
You could bring them back to the main room and then you could do something with them.
Right.
But
My thought process is you put them in suspension. You can send an admin in there to reprimand them, and then
except you can't remove them. Yeah. But what's interesting here is if you open your participants list, the fifth person is not there. You cannot see that they exist until they come back to the main room.
right.
Now
Kirsten
they're
was going
there.
to.
where what is possible that so one thing I'm doing when I make breakout rooms, I have 1 or 2 spare rooms which I'm not using, so I have some additional room that either we as hosts can go in there if we have to discuss something, or I can use it for something else. And what we did just some weeks ago, we had a participant who was not talking and not switching on the video, but we had a workshop where you at least have to talk, otherwise it doesn't make sense in a breakout. So it happened in the first round, and then what I did was I moved this person to a spare breakout room, and then one of our co-hosts went in there and tried to talk with the person. And then later the person then left by himself, but otherwise we could have put the person into the main room and then just,
So when you moved them into that other room, they had to accept your invitation to move.
It depends the settings. I
So-
was used to have the settings like they are in here at the moment, that you have to click on something, and I moved to the settings that people are pushed into the room automatically. That's more easy. Otherwise you have so many people in the main room who haven't found the button.
And is that a setting that's in the meeting, or is that something that you set up beforehand for all your meetings, or can you change it now?
That's a good question. David, as the host, can see it in the settings before you open the meeting. Before you open the breakouts in the settings, I'm not sure if you can change it there.
All of us are co-hosts, so we should all be able to see the same thing.
Yes, and the host has more power than the co-host still with the breakouts.
Yeah. Right.
You mean his looks different than ours?
Yes, I believe so. So let's see if I can pull this off.
You want to share screen and show us?
I can't because it's one of these modal dialogues of Zoom, and I apologize if this is too small.
Well, I'll
But
just pin you.
if we look at the options here, these are the choices we have.
That's the same one I have. Yeah.
Breakout rooms
Yes,
closed.
you can change it in there.
Which one is it?
The third one from the top, I think.
But we haven't assigned participants.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, let's try it. You do that on the options. Do the third one.
Automatically move all assigned participants to breakout rooms. Okay.
Allow participants to
Okay.
choose room. You have that turned off, Kirsten?
Yes.
Okay.
So now if I do this exchange.
So you're going to have to open all rooms.
Yep. And then Scopes is going there where he's going. Everybody else is. I just have the ability to move everybody. Oh, and where'd everybody go? And everybody just went. And I can bring you back to the main, and I can bring you back to the main, and I can bring everybody back to the main session. So it's interesting. Where'd Ray go? Hold on. Just don't want to leave Ray hanging out there. Okay.
So when you click the button and open the rooms, we all got put in, even though we weren't assigned to anything.
Yeah, it might be a sticky bit from the previous room that
But
we
there
all
was
went
also
to.
only one room. If there were multiple rooms,
Yeah,
that
okay.
might have been different, Lois.
There's 2 rooms. There's room 1 and there's suspension.
Right. And
Oh, okay.
but once I did that function, I can then pull people back to the main. I don't know. It's just strange, but it might be too small of a crew to really
You
dive
can
into this.
You can pull people back, and you can move people.
Okay, we'll figure it out. I'll get there, but I appreciate you guys putting up with me playing around. I don't get to do
So
this.
Ray,
much.
did you get an invitation?
No, I just got moved.
No, right
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
No.
no, I just have the display. No, I don't have an invitation.
Because I said move Ray into suspension, and you're still here
Oh,
in the
I
main
think
room.
I closed the rooms. I'm sorry.
Okay,
as
never
host.
mind. I think that's enough of that.
I think so.
I think I'm going to go have some lunch.
Yeah,
I think that's a good idea. Dinner time here in the East.
just about. And it is a holiday, and
And it's midnight where Kirsten, right?
Not yet.
Quite. Not quite, but yeah.
well, I mean, because it is such a light crowd, I'm okay with it. We're just holding the fort down for Jeff. He's, like I say, he's on assignment and crushing it with Doug Ferguson and company. So I appreciate everybody showing up here as we do. I know I haven't been around as much, only because Fridays sometimes it's a little crazy, but I'll do my best to be a little more present in the community. And
since I have you here, David, you were originally signed up to be doing something on the
I
thing with
know.
Lois.
I remember that.
Ray, I am not. So I was wondering. I know you're really busy right now, but is there something I should be thinking about for you in a few months?
Think about, I mean, if there's any kind of urban burden kind of thing you think
Sure.
would be applicable.
Pigeons.
Come and
Yeah,
be
yeah.
on the show sometime. We'll talk about urban birds.
Okay.
The
I've-
show is according to who's there. That's how it always goes.
And what, just remind me on the nights, Thursdays?
Thursday. It's 5 o'clock California, 8 o'clock Eastern.
Okay. I will put that in and see when paths collide, and we'll make it happen one way or another.
Yeah. And I really liked your idea about doing a little video there. What was it, Central Park or something?
Central Park is just across the street.
Yeah.
Right now, I think all the migratory birds are,
Migrating.
they're done. They got to where they were going. But in the fall, there's a lot of waterfowl that swing through this way and stuff.
Yeah, so even if you can't come during the show, having a little video clip with you doing things. We're going to get some arrays. We had a couple of yours on last night, and I want to get the one that was the very first one with the droll Yankee feeder. That was a good one.
Right.
I do have
With the
some.
dove.
I do have some friends that are a little more active in the birding community. Some living further upstate. I'll let them know and we'll spread the word.
Good. Have you been to the website yet? I mean, the YouTube channel yet? The Birding with Lois YouTube?
No, I have
Okay.
not. But I
So
will.
I've been making, so before the show, before the premiere, I did this like 20-minute thing. We were in one of our practices and we did a practice. And so it was like, this is what it might look like, right? Well, then 3 days before it, I started doing this silly thing. I got up in the middle of the night, had all the lights off except that one little night light over there. And I started doing things like, are you there? Are you there? Is anybody there? Oh, there you are. And
That was her Biden impression.
hysterical. And so they're about a minute and a half, 2 minutes long. And I've been having lots of
They were
fun
very
playing
funny.
with those. Very funny.
Very funny.
Hey, I did a new one, Ray. And this one, I've been calling them dark humor because I start in the dark. Well, this one, the lights are on because this is solemn and serious. And it's an invitation to people to come and be on the show. So
Cool. Yeah.
anyway, they're cute, but they're little.
You build it and they will come.
I think
Just
I've
like this
gotten-
community, just like any of these communities,
I've gotten more responses to those little minute and a half silliness things than I have to the show.
Well,
Well, they're fun to share, and YouTube is a sharing thing. You should put them on Instagram and you should put them on Facebook.
if I'm not mistaken, Liberty White coined the phrase snackable content.
Yep, she's the best.
She's the
at it.
social gal. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe I should send a message to Liberty and ask her to
Yeah.
show these on her channel or whatever.
There you go.
Anyway,
Alrighty. Well, I
thanks.
just want to
See you
say thanks
Friday.
again. I'm going to.
Thank you.
I don't have Ray's music. Ray's music. I don't have Jeff's music to play us out, but I do have the slate. I'm going to just punch that up, solo it, and wish everybody
as long
safe
as it's not copyrighted. You see.
No, it's his. No, it's not, I don't have any music, but
Good weekend, everybody.
yeah. Enjoy the
Bye,
weekend,
Ray.
and we'll see you soon.
Have a good weekend.
Cheers.
Beautiful.
Bye-bye.
See you, Ray. Thanks again, man.